Let's draw the cube. The cube slash box. Once you've got everything labeled, that's your first step. Don't forget to read your annotated directions. After you've got each of your forms and the ellipse labeled, your next step is to measure down 1/2 inch from the top of the paper at the left-hand side. 1/2 inch on your ruler is the second longest line between 0 and 1. The longest line next to the number 1 is the 1 inch mark. So if you're going to measure 1 inch, you would do a dot or a little mark right above that long line on your paper. For 1/2 inch, it's right here for this. You're going to look at it and put a mark just above it on the paper. I'm turning my ruler vertically, and I'm putting the edge of my ruler at the edge of the paper, and I'm going down the ruler to 1/2 inch, and I made a mark there, and I did it at the right. Now here's your next step. Line up your two marks so that you can just see them on the other side of the ruler. Lining them up is really important. And you're going to draw what we call the horizon line on the paper. We'll be using the horizon line to help us draw the first two forms. Continue your line about 3 or 4 inches off of the paper onto your drawing board cover or on any surface that you can clean it off. We're going to be using it a little bit later for this form. Our next step, as it says in the directions, is you're going to draw 2 vanishing points for drawing our cube. Our first vanishing point is going to be right on this line, about 1/2 inch from the right hand or the left hand edge of the paper, the vertical edge, and it's right there. That's a vanishing point. Remember, using linear perspective, we'll learn a little bit more about this eventually. Using linear perspective helps us to make a box more effectively. We're going to put the second vanishing point in the middle of the pyramid's space. So here's the divider line for the pyramid, right? This is its area. So about halfway over, you're going to put the second vanishing point. That's for the cube slash box. So next step says you're going to draw its vertical edge, which will be about 3 inches long, starting about 1/2 inch above the fold in the middle of that space, in about the middle of that space. So we know we want it to be 3 inches long, so I'm just putting any random number higher than 3 inches. I'm putting 5, as a matter of fact, on the fold, which is right here. The 5-inch mark is there. I'm going to measure up 1/2 inch, and I'm going to make sure my ruler is going straight, which it isn't. I want to straighten it back up so that this is parallel to the edge of the paper. Now I'm going to start my line at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to go 3 inches higher. So there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm stopping at the 1.5 inch mark to make a 3-inch long line. That's going to be the very first place to make my cube. Now from the bottom, I'm going to go to the first vanishing point. So I'm putting my pencil right at that bottom edge, putting my ruler at the vanishing point of the right on the horizon line, and I'm drawing my line to the vanishing point. I'm going to do the same thing going to the second vanishing point. And you want to make sure you draw really lightly when you do this because you're going to be erasing. So I'm going to draw to the other vanishing point. So now I've used those 2 vanishing points to draw the bottom edges of my cube to the left and to the right from the bottom of the front edge. Now from the top of that front edge, that's the corner that's closest to us, we're going to go to the vanishing point at the left again to make the top of the left face of the box. And then we're going to do it from the top of that line, which is its edge, to the right-hand vanishing point, making sure I go right to that same vanishing point. So here's the right face of the box and the left face of the box. But right now they look like they go to infinity and beyond. You want to stop them before they get too far. For the ease of this project, we would normally use the sighting technique to get the correct proportions. But for this, we're just going to approximate it. So I'm putting my ruler right along the vertical edge that I drew to start the box drawing, and I'm moving it parallel to it and parallel to the edge of the paper. It went a little crooked, so I'm straightening it back up again, making sure it's parallel to that and still parallel to that. And it's about 1 inch away from this front edge, and I'm drawing in the back edge of that face of the box. So here's the front edge and the back edge, the bottom and the top of that face of the box. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Because it's closer to this vanishing point than it is to that one at this vertical edge, we know we see this front face more than we see this side face. So we're going to make the distance from here to the back edge more than it was to this one because it's turned more to us, kind of like when we did the bag. So I'm putting my ruler along the back edge of the ruler along that side edge, and I'm moving the front edge of the ruler closer to the fold so that it's going a bigger distance than that one did. And I'm going to draw in, making sure that it's parallel to the fold, 90-degree angle to the horizon line, and I'm drawing in my, oops, it moved. I'm drawing in my vertical edge at the back of it. I'll erase that. Now, here's my next step. I'm going to draw the top of this box, and I need to go to the same edge that the front went to make the back of that edge. So I'm putting my pencil right here at the back top edge of the box, putting it right at that point, and I'm putting it at the horizon, at the horizon line at the vanishing point, putting the ruler, meeting them up, and I draw my back edge in. So that's the back edge of the top face of the box. Now we want to do this back edge of the top face of the box. Put the ruler right on top of those lines that intersect for that face at the top. Line up the ruler with it and with a vanishing point on the opposite side, and we draw in that back edge. Now we can stop there because we know that it doesn't go all that direction, but I want to see your work, so I want you to go ahead and draw it in to that vanishing point. Now we've got the box existing in real space. It looks something like this box. We've got the vertical edge here, we've got the back edge here, the back edge at the right here, the top face is right here, here's the bottom and this bottom. And we use the two vanishing points to help us make it. The last step in drawing it with line is to take your eraser and erase these lines into dotted lines that go beyond the face of the box. And do it as neatly as you can so it's not smudged and smeared. And because I made a mistake in there, I'm going to erase that mistake too. So doing a good job cleaning it up, making it look presentable and pretty for all of these steps. And if you had an accident like I did, make sure you erase it really well so it doesn't show up. When it comes to these are called guidelines that helped us to make the box. Remember, I want you to leave your work, but I want you to know that they're not really there. So that's why I'm having you erase them into dotted lines. On this side, we need this entire space for the pyramid. So I want you to erase all of the guidelines at the fold going to the vanishing point. Be careful not to erase the horizon line. And you should be done with your cube/box. So your next one to do is the pyramid.